Returning to our major breaking news overseas, Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro has been captured after the US struck the capital city of Caracas overnight. President Donald Trump says Maduro is aboard a US warship heading for New York, where he will face drugs and weapons charges in a US federal court.
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. The dictator and terrorist, Maduro, is finally gone, and Venezuela people are free.
These are extraordinary developments overnight. For more, let's bring in political scientist Simon Jackman, who's with us here in the studio this morning. Simon, good morning.
Good morning.
Why has the US done this? Is it drugs? Is it oil? What is going on?
I think it's a combination of all of the above. For a long time, a number of converging forces around Trump have sort of led to this moment. I think on the one hand, you could even throw immigration into the mix. And I think you've got a voice like Steve Miller looking at waves of Venezuelans coming to the United States looking to escape the corrupt regime there on the one hand. I think you've got the drug argument, and that's coming more out of Marco Rubio's patch. He comes from Florida, and Trump spends a lot of time in Florida. There is a large expatriate community there, very unhappy with the direction that Venezuela had gone in. There'd been a lot of back and forth on access to oil in Venezuela. At one point, in the big, beautiful bill, licenses for Chevron to extract oil out of Venezuela had been withdrawn at the insistence of Florida lawmakers. Chevron wanted to get that oil back out. And the other thing is just ideological. They don't like this guy. They haven't liked him since Trump Mark I. He's a socialist. He's part of a broader network of socialist administrations across the region. The United States, particularly under Trump Mark II, is saying, this is our patch of the world. What we say goes, and if you're on the wrong side of us on any of the above, we reserve the right to use the force that we've seen deployed this morning to change facts on the ground.
At this point in time, you'd have to say Trump's apprehension to be involved in foreign wars is largely waning. I mean, it's no small feat when we look at this Operation Absolute Resolve. They've flown into Caracas. They've snatched the president in the middle of the night. Can we just speak to sort of this operation, what was involved? I know you said there was some sort of indications leading up to it, but what's involved to actually have this?
Well, the readouts we've had from the US military, and the only thing I think that's in the public domain is what we saw from the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff in that press conference. Look, it's something the US does extraordinarily well, this joint force operation between their intelligence assets, stacking aircraft up and then creating, over cover for special forces operators to get in and do an extraction. The US has been doing this since 9/11. They are undoubtedly, and it's not a boast, there's no one in the world that does it quite like that. But we come to a real contradiction here, and that is a MAGA insistence that there be no boots on the ground and no more stupid foreign wars. And so this operation doesn't look like that. It is a snatch and grab operation done, as the US does very well. And yet an insistence by Trump that we're going to be running the country. Well, you've got nobody there. The vice president of Venezuela is now the president and is sounding very defiant in her opening words. So there's a real tension here to be resolved that your question speaks to between no foreign wars and yet the precision of a snatch and grab operation. So what does it mean, therefore, for the US to be running the country, as Trump would have us believe?
Yeah, there's a lot of hallmarks with Iraq there. For Australians, Nicolás Maduro, I mean, he's not a big name. He's not in the news a lot here. The UK describes him as an illegitimate president. He's described by some as a dictator, a communist by some people. There will be Venezuelans who are celebrating the fall of a man who has made life pretty tough in Venezuela, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, I know my own time in the United States. I lived in the States for 28 years, most of it in California. A lot of the people that would sell me coffee every morning on my way to work were Venezuelan emigres. Business people, small business people of a more, free enterprise mindset who had no place, had been railroaded out of their home country. Multiply that story hundreds of thousands of times across the United States. You've got that sort of family, those small business people, had found a home in the United States, they will be celebrating. I expect we've got some here in Australia as well. Just on that point, though, Hugh, Australia too, at various points going right back to Trump Mark I, was part of a broad group of signatories pointing at the Venezuelan election and declaring it illegitimate. And though we're yet to see a statement from our DFAT just yet, I expect it'll be of a similar tone to the language out of the United Kingdom. Concern about the questionable legality of what the United States does, but nonetheless, I think consistent with our displeasure with respect to what had been going on in Venezuela.
Yeah, we'll wait to hear from Penny Wong later today.
Yes, some extraordinary developments probably still to come. Simon, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you.
It's just gone 7:30. Let's get more on our major global news now. Here's Marley Hogan.